The kids in room 207 were misbehaving again. Spitballs stuck to the ceiling. Paper planes whizzed through the air. They were the worst behaved class in the whole school.
Now settle down!
But the class would not settle down.
No!
They whispered and giggled. They squirmed and made faces. They were even rude during story hour, and they always refused to do their lessons.
Something will have to be done.
The next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school.
Wow! This is awesome! Now can really act up.
They began to make more spitballs and paper planes.
Today would just be terrible. Not so fast.
A woman in an ugly black dress stood before them.
I am your new teacher, Miss Viola Swan.
She rapped the desk with her ruler.
Where is Miss Nelson? Never mind that. Open those math books.
The kids did as they were told. They could see Miss Swamp was a real witch. She meant business. Right away, she put them to work and she loaded them down with homework.
We'll have no story hour today. Keep your mouth shut. Sit perfectly still. And if you misbehave, you'll be sorry.
The kids in room 207 had never worked so hard. Days went by and there was no sign of Miss Nelson.
I miss Miss Nelson. Maybe we should try to find her.
The kids began to think, maybe something terrible has happened to Miss Nelson.
Maybe she was gobbled up by a shark.
But that didn't seem very likely.
Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars.
That didn't seem very likely either.
I know! Maybe Miss Nelson's car got picked up by an angry swarm of butterflies.
But that seemed least likely of all. Some of them went to the police. Detective McSmog was assigned to the case.
I am Detective McSmog.
He listened to their story. He scratched his chin.
I think Miss Nelson is missing.
The kids could tell that McSmog would not be much help. Other kids went to Miss Nelson's house. The shades were tightly drawn and no one answered the door. In fact, the only person they did see was the wicked Miss Viola Swan. They got away just in time. The kids in room 207 became very discouraged. It seemed that Miss Nelson was never coming back. They would be stuck with Miss Swamp forever. They heard footsteps in the hall. Miss Nelson noticed that during story hour, no one was rude or silly.
What's odd about this one? That's our little secret.
Back home, Miss Nelson took off her coat and hung it in the closet, right next to an ugly black sweater. When it was time for bed, she said to herself,
I'll never tell.
Happiness